Um, Thank you everyone for checking out another segment of Straight No Chaser, where I get to talk sports and culture, oftentimes for fans, with the fans. Now, there's a lot going on in our country, both on the national level and the local level. We've got the third week of professional football here that's starting. We've got the start of the NBA finals that are starting tonight. The Lakers taking on the Miami Heat. We also have here on the local level the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox that are in the middle of a pennant chase. So there's a lot going on, but nothing more important than what has been taking place on a national level. Most importantly, what transpired last night during last night's presidential debate. So there's been a lot of conversation around what transpired, some of the things that have been said. I know that there's some people out there with some strong opinions and thoughts. So before we get into it, before I dive into it, you know how we do it? You got it at home? Raise your glass. We're about to get into it. Straight No Chaser. So let me ask you this. A couple questions before we wrap up. And I appreciate everyone's thoughts and comments. Let me ask you, what are some things that can be done to improve the debates moving forward? There are 2 debates scheduled. I don't know if they'll happen. That's going to be my final question. But moving forward, what are some things that can be done that can help control the atmosphere, control the energy, the tempo, the ebb and flow in conversation? What are some things that can be done to improve the debates? One of the things that Jacoby mentioned earlier, and I don't know who the next 2 moderators are. That's something I would have to look up. I apologize for not having that information. But I think first off, I think understanding the ground rules and making sure that the ground rules are followed, and having a strong personality to be able to corral some of those individuals in when they're having when they were going over their time, or when it gets personal, the attacks are going on. Jacoby took my next point. I was going to say turn their mics off after an allotted time. Now, sometimes you want to create a flow to a conversation. So if it's going 2 minutes, and let's say you're at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, 2 minutes 15, those are things that you can try to be flexible on, because sometimes you have a lot of information to share, and we want to make sure that the American people have the information. Most importantly, while we want to stay within time constraints, the information is what's most important. But I agree, that was one of the things that I was just floored by. Like, okay, is there something that can be done? Can we turn the mics down? Can we mute them? Can we cut them off? It may come across as disrespectful, but it also shows to the country, to the American people, that we are looking to make sure that we have the proper information within the proper context, within the proper format, and we have control of the situation. So Jacoby, you took my next point. Absolutely. Turn their mics off or mute them after their allotted time, or if it gets to the attacking point, you're calling people names, you're bringing up information that's not relevant. That's something that needs to be done. Making expectations known. Great point, Jacoby. Absolutely, and that's why I asked the question right off the bat: what were people's expectations going into the debate? With that, you have to make sure that the participants understand the expectations. If you've ever been in a debate, or if you've ever given a persuasive speech, you've been given an outline, you've been given the parameters, and you have to fit within those parameters. And that's something that I think that really got lost yesterday, and it was gobbledygook, and it was a hot mess, and it was a train wreck after the first 7 minutes. Absolutely. Jacoby's thrown out another great point. Make sure candidates answer the questions, keep them on track. Great point. That goes back to my previous point of what can we do to improve the debate platform, the situation. Having a strong personality that can step in and say, that is not the question that or the information that we are discussing. This is the information or the question that we are looking to have answered. And if you can't answer that question in the capacity in which we need to have an answer, or within a time allotment, or in a respectful manner in which it needs to be answered, then we go to, muting the mics or turn the mics off, things like that. Absolutely, great point. This all kind of leads to things that are bipartisan. Doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, conservative, or liberal. These are things that can be done to ensure that the American people on either side can make sure they have that they are witnessing a fruitful debate, a fruitful discussion. I don't think anything came out of there last night that helped people one way or the other. But I think these are all ways to improve it. So